Hey y'all, it's Kate from LoveStory, and I just have to talk about this book right here, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Oh my god. I just finished reading this book. I spent all day reading it, basically. I was like only halfway through when I started today, but I spent all day at work and all night reading it, and oh my god. This was amazing. So I should start by saying when I first started this book, I started reading it for book club at work, and I was skeptical that I would like it because usually when it's a celebrity book club book or a New York Times bestseller, I don't like it as much as other people do, and I don't think it usually deserves the amount of accolades that it does. But let me tell you, this book is amazing. The writing is beautiful. The characters just grab and twist your heart, and the story is unbelievable. My heart broke so many times for Kaya reading this book. It was a roller coaster ride just reading the book in the best possible way. I cried, I smiled, I laughed, I moaned. I said, no, don't do it, Kaya. Don't go there. Don't trust that boy. And I fell in love with all of the characters. And it was just amazing. Definitely 5 stars. The writing, like I said, was beautiful. The way that Delia Owens just intertwined nature and her nature writing in with this story and the plot was unbelievable. You don't even realize that you're reading about nature. Now, I grew up with nature. My grandpa was a forester, and I grew up knowing all of the names of the trees, including like down to like the blue spruce, and not just like, oh, that's a pine tree, that's a Christmas tree, but the very names of the trees. And I have one of his tree books from when he was in forestry school at Paul Smith's here at my house, and I've read it a couple times now. It's actually right up there. And so I love nature, but I don't, this made me want to write a book with trees the way that Delia Owens wrote about the marsh in North Carolina. And reading this in North Carolina, it was a great experience. But to find out that Delia Owens lives in Idaho, which I spent 6 years in getting my MFA, and that's a beautiful country in itself, I'm like, how does she write so beautifully about a place that she doesn't even live in? This was such an amazingly beautiful book. I'm speechless. I really am. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about the book because I don't want to give away spoilers, but if you want me to do a spoiler review, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely be 100% there. I'll do it as soon as someone says, yes, I'd love that. But I don't want to give spoilers because I want everyone to read this book. I feel like I'm the last person on earth to have read this book because it was so ginormous when it first came out, like 2 years ago, last year maybe. But I don't want to give away spoilers yet because maybe there's other people that haven't read it yet. But if you haven't read it, you need to read this book. It is so amazing. I have this book from the library, but I'm definitely going to add it to my buy list because I already want to read it again. And I just finished, like literally, you could probably still see the tears in my eyes. I literally just finished this book and got on here to read it. 5 stars. If I could give it more than 5 stars, I would. It was that good. I would read it again in a heartbeat. Delia Owens, you are amazing with words and writing and story, and I was gripped from the start, but when I got about halfway through, I literally couldn't put this book down. When I was reading the first half, I wanted to keep reading. I was intrigued enough to keep reading, but it wasn't enough that I couldn't interchange on the other books. As you know, I read several books at a time, and I usually do like a chapter at a time before I switch to another book. But I was about halfway through this book today at work, and I just couldn't stop reading it. I just kept reading and reading and reading. And then I had to leave work, and I was almost sad to leave work because that meant I had to stop reading for even just a couple minutes. And I got home and I made dinner, and I had, about an hour off, and then I went right back into reading. And it's amazing that I've been reading this long today, because this has been a really long week for me, and this morning I just felt like I was gonna crash tonight and maybe finish this book tomorrow or Sunday, but definitely not tonight. But I literally couldn't put it down. I couldn't stop reading. It is one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. It's beautiful, it's sad, it has a kind of a happy ending, maybe bittersweet is the better word for it. I don't want to give it away, but what a beautiful book. Hands up. I really want to read, I don't know, this was Delia Owens' first novel. I really I hope that she writes more, because this was an amazing novel, and I can't wait to get it, and I'm going to tell everyone I know to read it, and I can't wait to talk about it in our book club at the end of the month. 5 stars, beautiful writing, beautiful story, amazing characters that just grip me. Even the so-called bad characters, I still felt sympathy for. And it had me on a roller coaster ride through the whole thing. I had no idea what was going to happen, which is the best kind of suspense novel. The New York Times book review has a quote on the front of the book, this copy of the book at least: "Painfully beautiful, at once a murder mystery, a coming-of-age narrative, and a celebration of nature," which sums that book up beautifully. I don't have enough good words to say about this book, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. If you haven't read it yet, read it right away. If you have read it, let me know what you thought in the comments. I can't wait to talk about this book to people, and I don't want to wait until the end of the month when we talk about it in book club to talk about it. So if you've read Where the Crawdads Sing, which I know tons of people on BookTube have, let me know what you thought. Let me know your favorite parts, because I can't wait to talk about it. And that's it for now. I'll put up a weekly check-in, or my weekly reading vlog, tomorrow morning-ish. But I just couldn't wait to talk about Where the Crawdads Sing, because this was such an amazing book. Like I said, 5 stars, one of the best books I've read this year. I think one of the best books I've ever read. This is going to be one of my favorite books ever, and definitely this year. And you'll definitely hear me talk about it again in other wrap-up videos. But Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, 5 stars, amazing, beautiful, heart-wrenching. Go read it now. I'll see y'all tomorrow on Saturday. Happy Friday, happy weekend. Keep reading, happy reading.